All right, here we go again. Again, we are live. I guess it is technically Christmas, so Merry Christmas to all you fucking Thunderlings out there. We will get started momentarily. I just need to load something up real quick. What a beautiful photo I captured of Pete Fairbanks for the title here. Beautiful photo. Absolutely stunning. Compelling and rich. I don't start the stream until my wrench gets here, so when the wrench has shown up, I will start the stream. But until then, I need protection. I need my wrench. And the Platinum Wrench has just come in and threatened to rape me, saying, let's get it on. Sage, I'm not surprised. I'm a well put together man, so I'm really not surprised that you would come at me, but I didn't expect for it to be publicly. So let's maybe bury that deep down inside and never bring it up again, okay? I don't care. I don't know what the stream means. The stream's probably code word for some sort of a sexual pissing on another man thing. I don't want to talk about what the stream means to you, okay, Sage? I want to know what the stream is. So please, you are so a raper. That's all I'm going to say about it, man. It's just, again, bury it deep down inside. Let's just never have this discussion again, okay? How does that sound? All right. We have a big, big day of sports to cover. And I mean big. We'll just start with the baseball. Let's get the baseball out of the way. Then we'll go over my predictions for tomorrow. So, another really good reliever has come off the board, and that reliever is Pete Fairbanks. Now, I only understand this decision in one way, shape, or form, which we'll get to shortly. However, Pete Fairbanks has signed a 1-year, $13 million contract with the Florida/Miami Marlins. It's a pretty good deal. 1 year has literally no risk to it. He's going to be their closer, so that's something that I guarantee the Blue Jays wouldn't have just straight up offered him, which is probably one reason why he's not with the Jays. He's with the Marlins. Apparently, they became very motivated after losing Ronnie Henriquez to elbow surgery. So I guess he's filling in for that guy there, who, I'm not going to lie, I have no idea who that son of a bitch is. Just hearing that name for the second time in the last 2 days there. I don't know. Fairbanks, pretty fucking solid. I mean, in his career, let's just get his fucking numbers up here. He's got a 3.19 ERA in his career in 265 innings. Has had a multitude of injuries. 11.3 strikeouts per nine in his career. It has declined along with his velocity the last 2 years, but he was still very efficient with a 2.83 ERA. So I kind of like this deal a lot for the Marlins, and I kind of like the deal for Pete Fairbanks as well, because he can just maybe sign a multi-year deal next year if he proves that he's healthy. But again, it's the Miami Marlins, so no one gives a fuck. But what's kind of funny is we've got some Miami Marlins news yet again. And this is according to some guy, I don't even know who the fuck Barry Jackson is, but the Miami Herald's Barry Jackson is basically saying that the Houston Astros and Baltimore Orioles have moved on in trade talks for Edward Cabrera. Apparently they don't like the asking price, so there's two teams out on that. And this is the biggest news of the day. I did save the biggest for the last. That is Vlad Guerrero is a free agent. Yes, you heard me correctly. Vladdy is a free agent. Let that sink in a little bit before we move forward. If you guys didn't see this, then you guys just aren't plugged in the way that I am. Because the Mets have released first baseman / outfielder Vladdy Guerrero. That's one of 3 sons of Vladimir Guerrero. He's out of work. He's unemployed, after hitting 210 with a 329 on base percentage and a 285 slugging in 72 games over the last 2 seasons in the Dominican Summer League. So the 19-year-old wasn't highly regarded on 2 years ago, and after the dog shit performances that he's put in the last 2 years, obviously the Mets felt like, let's get this guy out of here. David Stearns said, fuck you, Vladdy Guerrero. Get the fuck out of here is what David Stearns said. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. And that wraps up our baseball. It does wrap up our baseball. I'd be very surprised if we have any news tomorrow that is baseball news. I just don't see, like, motherfuckers hammering out deals on fucking Christmas Day. Now, maybe it happens, but I think the next 2, maybe 3 days could potentially be slow. But certainly on Christmas, I don't see any fucking deals getting done. So we are still going to stream because we do have football tomorrow, and I believe this is what Netflix's big debut. They've got the Christmas games, and basically we've got 3 shitty-ass matches. So I'm going to make the predictions, and I'll get all the games right. I might not necessarily get the spreads right, but first game, Dallas on the road against the Washington Commanders. Well, A, Dallas wins. B, Dallas covers the 9-point spread. Next question. Detroit on the road again against the Minnesota Vikings. Well, we know J.J. McCarthy's not playing. I have no idea who's playing quarterback for the Vikings. I don't care, because they had that other guy going, Bowser or whatever the fuck he was. I think they're moved past him, and I don't think they're going to get anyone better. So even though the Vikings have been playing extremely well, they're now a 7-8 team, believe it or not. So they're going to finish with 7 or 8 wins, to end the year potentially. I do see the Vikings defense potentially being able to get after Jared Goff's ass a little bit, but I just do not see any ability for the Vikings to score. I don't really see enough in the running game. Who's going to pass the ball? They don't have a quarterback. So Detroit's going to win. Detroit's going to win by more than 7.5. So I'm going with that for the week. Denver on the road against Kansas City. Well, Denver wins. I don't like when we start getting into like this 13 to 14 to 15 point spreads. I just don't think it's very easy to predict at all. It's incredibly difficult, actually. I don't know who Kansas City has going. Gardner Minshew's gone, and so is fucking Patrick Mahomes. So, I don't know. I think even if Patrick Mahomes was playing, they could definitely win by 10, 7 or 10 anyway. I would say that I don't like doing it, because usually I like to take the guys that kind of keep it within 14, that sort of thing. If Mahomes is playing, obviously I'd be picking them to cover, but I think that Denver's going to win by potentially 2 scores. So I'm going to go with Denver. This is a terrible slate of games. Now, at the start of the year, you might not have thought they'd be terrible, because Detroit and the Vikings were both 15 win teams last year. Denver was, regarded as this big up-and-coming team, which they've proved to be. And, of course, Kansas City was the, team that got their asses kicked in the Super Bowl there. So you would have thought, it's pretty good. Commanders were good last year. Dallas, maybe they take a step up. But all these games suck. So I will definitely listen to all the games. I will break down what happened. It's just kind of disappointing that J.J. McCarthy's not playing tomorrow in a game that does matter for the Packers, because Detroit needs to win this game as well as their game against the Bears to close out the season in order to make the playoffs over the Packers. Now, the Packers can stop that with a win over either the Ravens or the Minnesota Vikings to kind of close out the season. So, the ball's in our court, but, let's just... I'm hoping for the Vikings, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Who Do I even want to bother and see who's starting for the Vikings tomorrow? Let's just do it, because we should probably know this. Who is starting for the Vikings versus the Lions? Max Brosmer is back. He looked as bad as any quarterback this year. Max Brosmer is back. And then who do we have? Who do we have going for Kansas City? Who will start for the Chiefs versus the Broncos? Don't you dare fuck with me. Why can't there just be a real answer out there that's really quick? Like, okay, I'm just going to have to go to fucking Roto World. Just try to see. They're not really saying. I don't know who Kansas City has starting. I really don't care. I'm going to read the comments, then we're going to get the fuck out of here. Picks are easy. Now, picks are never easy when it comes to actually cover the spread stuff. It would be nice if we had 2 Saturday night games throughout the entire season. I can agree there. I'd rather us get rid of the Thursday night games, if I'm being honest with you. Sage says, crazy stat. The Colts are 1-5 since trading for Sauce Gardner. Well, what was the record for the Jets while they had Sauce Gardner? It was one win as well, one maybe two. I think it was maybe 2 wins potentially. Here's the thing about Sauce Gardner is he's not that good of a football player. He's not that good of a cornerback. He had that great rookie year or two. Ever since then, his grades have kind of gone down. He's not who he used to be. He's not worth what he got paid, and he's not worth what he got traded for by Chris Ballard. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. And an interesting stat as well, kind of related to the Jets, is that the Jets have no fucking interceptions this year. And guess what? I bet Sauce Gardner doesn't have any fucking picks himself. I bet he has no fucking picks. Has no ability to play whatsoever. Where's that fucking dumb shit, diamond shit on his fucking teeth? Looks like a dim-witted fuck. There's no way I'd be trading and paying a guy that looks that fucking stupid, that kind of fucking money, and draft capital as well on top of it. Crazy stats. Colts had a 98% chance of making the playoffs in Week 8. I don't think it was quite 98. It was in the 90s, though. I think it was like 95%. But, I mean, you go to different sites, you're going to get different answers. But, yeah, that's why, idiots like Pat McAfee and stuff should probably just keep their mouth shut a little bit. Because they wanted to right away anoint the Colts as, the champion without kind of realizing a few things, I don't know. What happens when Daniel Jones regresses? Because everyone's acting like, okay, the only reason that the Colts are in this predicament is because Daniel Jones got injured. They actually had lost, 2 or 3 games in a row prior to Daniel Jones getting injured? So, don't give me that bullshit. They were already on a losing streak. They started the season off with an extremely favorable schedule. Now, also, Jonathan Taylor isn't going to run for 3 touchdowns every game. I know that some of you Colts fans out there might find that hard to believe, but it's just not sustainable. And I said, there's going to be a regression to the mean for the Colts once Jonathan Taylor comes back down to reality. He's had a great year, don't get me wrong, but there's certain things that are unsustainable, and his performance is one of those things. It's just the way it goes. And I also think their defense is a little bit not so great either. I think there's certain things on their defense that is not great. Sage says that the Colts are frauds. They don't have anyone that's a star other than JT. Oh, what about that Anthony Richardson? I thought that he was a big star. Why didn't they go back to Anthony Richardson? I think Michael Pittman's solid. I'd say, Jonathan Taylor's solid. I'd say Alex Pierce is solid. I really like Alex Pierce as well. I like Tyler Warren. He might not be a star yet, but Tyler Warren is a future Pro Bowler, I would say. I don't know their offensive line. I think they do have a pretty good offensive line. Defensively, who's that cornerback that I used to like? He's kind of feel like he's taken a step back. What's his name? We've all had him in Fantasy League. I know that. We've all had him in Fantasy League. I can't fucking recall, man. Can't recall. Kenny Moore? No, not Kenny Moore. Who the fuck is that goddamn... It's going to actually bug me, so I'm going to type in Colts cornerbacks, because this is one I should know. That's fucking Kenny Moore. Is it Kenny? I like Kenny Moore, but I feel like he's kind of taking a step back. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Buckner, one of their best defensive guys. Buckner was injured too. I don't know. I'd have to look at their roster a bit more. I'm not going to say I'm an expert. I'm just going to say it just doesn't surprise me that they went on this terrible run here. I will say, though, that I was impressed with what Philip Rivers did last game. I liked how he played. I cannot put the game on him. I feel like the Colts, actually, the one thing that they do extremely well, from what I've heard, is stuff the run, and they weren't able to stuff the run whatsoever. And their defense needed to play a hell of a lot better. Your back's up against the wall, and you just allow the 49ers to drive down every single drive and score, essentially. Hot start was fluky. I'm definitely not going to disagree with that. And that's probably as many wins as they're going to end with this season is fucking 8. That's pretty crazy. You start 8-2, and then you go and you end with a record of 8-9 potentially. Do I think the Patriots are legit now after nearly beating the Bills and after beating the Ravens? Well, I think the Patriots are a legitimate team. They've got a great team. They've got 2 very good running backs, potentially the best quarterback in the league this year. Good receiving options as well. Pretty solid D. Coaching's been better this year. The only problem is they're a young team. They do have a lot of inexperience on their team. When they get to the playoffs, I think that experience will show. So I it's kind of similar to maybe the Denver Broncos a little bit too. And yeah, the Ravens aren't a great team. The Bills are good, but the Bills have styles that can be beat. Like, they play a lot of nickel, so if you can run the ball on them, you're going to have some success there. But yeah, I think maybe the Patriots win a game in the playoffs, but don't be surprised if... Remember what happened to Jaden Daniels last year in the playoffs? Well, the reason the Bills are struggling to throw the ball deep this year is they don't have any receivers. They don't have any receivers that can actually catch the ball downfield. So that's a problem. They need more receivers for Josh Allen down the field, absolutely. Pats have benefited from a very easy schedule early on, but they're taking care of business. I like the Pats. I like that they're going to have some home field advantage because I'm sick and tired of dome teams, and New England doesn't play in a dome because I want to see real football. I don't want to see fucking domes. I fucking think that domes are just fucking so stupid. I want to see snow games, man. I want to see fucking terrible cold weather. I want to see fucking motherfuckers looking like Tom Coughlin with their fucking cheeks as red as fucking Santa's hat. That's what I want to fucking see. But yeah, I think the Pats are maybe win a game. They might get their asses blown out, though. They might get their asses kicked. We'll see how it all plays out. So we have another comment here. So for the 2025 NFL season, the New England Patriots are widely cited as having the easiest strength of schedule, with some analysis calling it one of the easiest schedules in NFL history. Well, if you had listened to my last stream, it was right after a New England game. It's actually the easiest strength of schedule since the 1999 Rams. And I believe the Rams had like a 364 winning percentages for their opponents in the Patriots were around 380, 385, something like that. Now, this is prior to playing Baltimore, but it's not going to change the numbers too much because they're a game below 500 as well. So, yeah, it's an easy schedule. Still got to beat what's in front of you. It's not easy beating these teams. And it's just playoffs is a different gear, I feel. Yeah, we have ripped the Patriots most of the year for the schedule, for sure. Chat GPT predicts a Bills, Seahawks, Super Bowl. Thoughts on that? Well, it could happen. That's fine. Seahawks are an extremely interesting team. I buy into them more than I do the Bills because the Seahawks have a great D. Now, to me, it just seems like ChatGPT is connecting a few things here. One, they're just picking the best team in the NFC. And then two, they're just picking the best quarterback in the AFC. So I think that's what they're doing. Now, I do think that the Seattle Seahawks have some problems. I feel like one of their problems could be their quarterback, Sam Darnold. I'm not a believer in him being able to lead a team to a Super Bowl. I'm not a believer. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, the team, though, is as good as it gets. Between them and the Rams, that's the two best point differentials in football by far. The Bills, I'd have to look them up. I don't think the Bills are a Super Bowl team because I don't think Josh Allen has the weapons, and I do not think that the Bills are good on defense, especially against the run. They can't stop the run. They are always a nickel. Always a nickel. Yeah, the NFC, you legitimately have 7 teams that are going to be in the playoffs. And of those 7, you would say 6 could win the fucking Super Bowl in the NFC. In the AFC, dude, I don't see... Let me just bring up the playoff picture. I'll go through, and I'll just be quick. We can do like maybe a longer segment a different day. But I'm going to tell you just quickly who I think is like a contender and who I think is a pretender. Just really quick here. We'll start with the NFC. Seahawks number 1, contender. Bears number 2, non-contender, in my opinion. The reason for it is the Bears' defense is unsustainable. In the playoffs, they're not going to get the turnovers that they've been getting in the regular season, and they've been a defense that have been able to be carved up. The Eagles, I think you have to say, somewhat contender, in my opinion. So maybe you could put the Bears and Eagles as somewhat contender, but I feel like the Eagles are more of a contender than the Bears because they've got a nasty defense. They can get the running game going, and they do have weapons on offense. 49ers, I'm not sure about a true contender yet. I know they've surprised me all year. I'll say somewhat contender to contender. I don't know enough about them. I know they've been banged up. They seem to be finding their way in and doing well. The Rams as a 6 seed, contender. And the Packers as a 7 seed, I mean, they're a contender. Great defense, great offense, great quarterback. Now, if you kind of go over to the other side, here's where I get a little bit lost a bit. So Broncos, I think they're a contender. Now, Bo Nix, do I believe that Bo Nix is at that point of being able to carry that team if he has to? I'm not necessarily a believer in that. But I think the defense is there. I think they've got a good running back in R.J. Harvey. They do have some weapons. They're contender-ish at the very least. Patriots, I feel they're not pretenders, but they're like somewhat contenders. Now, the Jaguars, I'm not a big fan of, but Trevor Lawrence is playing super good. I don't know. Their point differential's not very great, but they've been hot lately. I don't look at them the same way as these NFC teams, though. I really don't. The Chargers, same thing. I mean, you've got a pretty solid team. They're going to be contender-ish, but I just don't look at them the same light as I do over in the NFC. Same goes with the Bills. We already went over that. And then, you got Sorry, I forgot to mention the Panthers, pretenders in the NFC. The Steelers, I don't think they're contenders. I don't think the defense has played good enough. So if the Steelers get in over the Ravens, I don't think that they've been playing good enough on defense. I think they're not getting the ball downfield enough. They're not making enough big plays. So potentially they could contend, but I'll say they're somewhat contenders. The Texans, in my opinion, are absolute contenders if C.J. Stroud can play decent football. He doesn't have to play great. He plays 85, 90 rating. That they could easily go all the way. So I actually trust the Texans more than teams like the Patriots and the Jaguars, if I'm being honest with you. Sage says, and I agree, AFC feels weak. He also says if Stafford keeps up his seasonal pace in the playoffs, he's a problem. Now, Stafford, the only thing is if they somehow were to shut him out, there's going to be problems. But he's got Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. So, and that Cody Parkinson's pretty damn good too. And Tyler Higbee, Kyron Williams as well. They're pretty damn good. Sage says, whoever makes it out of the AFC probably gets beat real good by the NFC. I actually do sense a bit of a blowout in the finals, unless it's maybe a team like the Bills that make it. Potentially, like Josh Allen has some magic, so he could keep it close. The Steelers would have to play D. I feel like the Texans could prevent a blowout, but the game could get away from them. And then I don't know, like the Chargers. If Justin Herbert goes on a hot streak, I could see them keeping a game close. You know what I mean? But let's see here. So only 2 quarterbacks have achieved over 45 touchdowns with 5 or fewer interceptions. Can you name those 2 quarterbacks? Well, we know it's going to be Aaron Rodgers for one of them. I don't know, Steve Young. I read that completely wrong. I'm not really sure what you're saying, though. Only 2 quarterbacks have achieved over 45 touchdowns with... Oh, in a season. Do you mean in a season? Because I'm not sure... Well, Aaron Rodgers has done that a few times. I'm pretty sure Rodgers had a few years where it's like 45-7 and, 42-5, all that shit. Yeah, I mean, Matt Stafford is... I still think the Rams are the team to beat. Even though they sit at the 6th seed, to me, they're the team in the NFC to beat. In the AFC, I mean, I think we all agree it's kind of a crapshoot. I think it's a crapshoot. Okay, 40-plus makes more sense. In the AFC, it's a crapshoot. I don't think anyone here can say they confidently feel that any of these teams is like a grind, like, you know what I mean? Like a world beater, that sort of thing. But we'll see. We will see. I'm not sure if he's my MVP or not. He has a lot of talent around him. What happened when Devontae Adams got injured? They lost. I get he put up some points, but they lost. Probably my MVP too. I think Drake May is going to get some votes. To me, it's really only a 2-horse race. I'd say Drake May and Matt Stafford, to be honest. I don't think you can really put Jared Goff up there, especially how they value wins, right? Regardless of what the Lions do, at best they're a 7 seed with basically a 500 record. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens there. All right. Is there any other things that you guys wanted to say, or shall we reconvene tomorrow? We're going to call it there. Bring out the whistle. Flag this son of a bitch down. All right. Going once. Going twice. And we are getting the fuck out of here. Merry Christmas, fuckers. and have a good night.